IPL started, KKR wanted somebody from the cricketing fraternity. Like you and I played with Saurav, and the reason he stood out was because of his mental toughness.
Yeah.
So Uttam Kumar was the biggest star then. He used to say, that is in real time. Uska kuch retake nahi hai. Two names, Kushagra and Anukul Roy, were phenomenal. One person can never win you a trophy. To say no wasn't easy, but he made a choice. That's why you're here.
Good morning to all the lovely viewers. We are in our fourth episode. Myself, Rajiv Seth. We have a special guest with us today, a very prolific run getter in his time, a first-class cricketer, played for Bengal, E-Zone, done wonderfully well in the field of commentary, coaching and many other facets. Let me welcome my dear friend and a very prolific cricketer of his time, Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee. Hi Joydeep.
Thank you, Mr. Seth. We've only known each other for 40 years.
Yes,
it's just stood the test of time, our friendship.
Correct. That's the thing. Let's have a seat and get started.
Thank you, absolutely.
We are at this lovely, what better place to be in than CCFC, the Calcutta Cricket and Football Club.
And you and I have spent a lot of time here playing cricket.
A lot of time here. So a lot of time in the Eden dressing room as well as here. So that's great. Your journey began in the iconic Kolkata Maidan, like any one of us who came and played for Bengal. What was the defining moment of your early days that told you that cricket is the one which you should go for?
So, at a very young age in school, I was pretty good in cricket. Everybody said when you play in the roadside in Bandh times, on the weekends, there used to be a lot of roadside cricket. There'd be matches with the next locality. So at the time, everybody said you were pretty good in cricket. Then my family went away to the US, as you know, for a long time. So when I came back, which was after school, so time had run by, I was about 18. And then all the people I used to play with, I was in the under 15 books and all that for Bengal. But I hadn't played under 19 for about 4 or 5 years I was away. Then I came back and I realized I was in love with the game. I missed the game. And I had a scholarship to University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, but I left that to come back and play cricket. So I worked really hard, and I realized that playing cricket gave me most love.
Interesting. This is the facet which even I was oblivious about. Not very much aware about. That's great. I mean, you in a way followed your heart in some sense, what it said at that point of time. You played during a period of transition for Bengal cricket. That was the time then Bengal cricket was also coming off the age and doing well, and almost reaching the knockouts at ease and even representing in the finals, twice. So how did representing the state and E-Zone shape your mindset as a leader and later as an administrator?
Yeah, it was amazing. I walked into a dressing room where 6-7 seniors had left. A lot of the players who'd been playing for Bengal had moved away, and there were about 5-6 juniors who came in at the same time. So I felt a little bit better. I was not the only youngster in the team. There were another 5-6 of them. There's some of them who you've played with, the IB Roys, the Joydeep Mukherjee, the Shagarmashin Sharmas, the Snehashin Gangulis. Arun was already there. Strangely, Ashok Malhotra's debut for Bengal and my debut for Bengal was in the same game.
Oh, great.
Because he came from Haryana, and his first game against Tripura was my first game ever. There was Karan Dubey, so a lot of the seniors who were there guided you, and also I learned from them. When you're a young boy, as you've been, you walked into the dressing room, you're feeding off the seniors. We had some fabulous seniors.
Absolutely.
You would agree with that.
KKR came to you as a refreshing thing, and that's when the IPL days started.
Yeah.
So your association with KKR dates back in 2008?
Yeah.
I think that was the second season?
First season, inception, yeah.
Yes.
I played 24 years of club cricket from 85 to about 2008. So I didn't know what else to do. Then IPL started. KKR wanted somebody from the cricketing fraternity to be able to be part of the team, somebody local. And I was the only local employee of theirs in 2008. Everybody else was from outside Kolkata, outside Bengal. So I was the connect as far as players. We had Riddhiman Saab, we had Ashok Dinda, we had Lakshmi Ratan Shukla at the time. A lot of the youngsters had come in. Rohan Banerjee was there, Saurav Gilaidi was there. So you needed to have a few under 19 players. It was a different format then.
And Saurav led the pack.
Saurav led the pack. So that is when they were looking for somebody. I had an interview with Jay Mehta at the time. I got in. So that was the perfect transition for me because I didn't know what to do. And then this came and fell on my lap. So it was easier for me to leave playing and get into this phase of my life.
Looking back at your playing career, from 87 to 95.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What were the biggest structural challenges you faced, and how do they compare to what players face today?
That's a great question. I think the biggest challenge that we faced was, when we started playing state cricket, and as you would know, you played some teams that were decent, the Tripuras, the Assam, and then you moved on to Bihar. Odisha was very good. You played for them for a long time. Bihar was really good. But then you went to the knockout stage. There was a huge difference.
Gap.
Huge. I don't see that anymore. I see the elite group being the best thing that's happened. Because there are no easy games. You play 7 or 8 games in the season, you're playing all the big wigs.
Being the son of Mr. Joydeep Mukherjee, who was a very well-known figure, I remember coming into Bengal and I heard so much about him before we became friends also.
Right.
You grew up in a very creative environment.
Yes, I did.
Who were the biggest cricketing influences or mentors that grounded you in the sport?
So my house was full of cinema stars, and all the discussions were about movies, about scripts. Some of the biggest names, the Uttam Kumars, the Shuchitra Sens, the Aparna Sens would be at our house discussing movies. So when you're a cricketer, your friends are cricketers.
Correct.
When you're a movie star, your friends are movie stars.
Likewise crowd.
Likewise crowd, yeah. So that's what I grew up with. But one common thread that they all had was they had a huge love for sport and they had a huge respect for sport. And I get to a little bit of Hindi. It's not as good as yours. But मुझे ये भी लगता था कि उनका एक अलग respect था sport के लिए.
Correct.
एक कारण से, this is Uttam Kumar, who was the biggest star then. He used to say that is in real time. उसका कुछ retake नहीं है. अगर थोड़ा सा चक लग गया बैट में, which you should have let go from Rajiv Seth, थोड़ा बैट अगर निकल गया और कैच स्लिप में हाथ से छूट गया, I can't have that moment back.
Correct.
In films you can. And this is coming from them. So that is why they understood how difficult. And at the time, the Gavaskars, the Vishwanaths were ruling when I was growing up, early 70s. On the radio, I would go with my father. And all these people, all these stars, we used to go in a group of 20, 25, sit in B block, not in clubhouse, and watch cricket. So the biggest names, Uttam Kumar, everybody used to be there. Soumitra Chatterjee, who became famous because of the movies he did with Satyajit Ray. So my initiation was, I got the respect of the sport from these men.
So, Joy, coming to Bengal cricket, which is what we are here for. We are promoting cricket in Bengal. We're seeing what is the good work being done by ex-cricketers as well as some of the leading coaches in Bengal. So on national representation, Bengal has been remarkably consistent in the Ranji Trophy, recently, reaching multiple finals.
Yep.
We were
15.
the lucky ones.
15 finals.
My God, they're not bad, huh?
Twice wins, you're one of them. Well done.
So coming on that, from your vantage point as director of cricket operations then in CAB, how do you evaluate the current gap between the state success and regular spot in the national team?
That's again a very good question. I wouldn't expect anything different from you. I think the main problem has been we are a very good red ball team. That's because of our bowling. Our bowling is just superb. We had Ashok Dinda. When I became director, we had Mukesh coming in, Ishan Porel, Akashdeep, now Suraj Sindhu Jaiswal averaging 16 with the ball. So, and in red ball cricket, as you know, it's more the bowlers who do the job.
Correct.
And then we had some really good batters, the Manoj Tiwaris, the Anushub Majumdars, Riddhiman Saab. But now, to be a very good white ball team, it's a different skill set that's required. It's more about the belligerence, and generally we as Bengalis are not belligerent people. So I think sometimes that's the reason why we're still not that good a white ball team as we are a red ball. Like you rightly said, we were in the finals 2 years back, we were in the finals 4 years back, we were in the semis, we were always there. Last year we were in the semis, we lost to Jammu and Kashmir. So you'll always find us hovering around the last 4 in Ranji. But we don't show the same consistency in white ball.
We have moved from traditional scouting to a more data-driven approach, which is prevalent everywhere. How has the structure of talent selection in Bengal evolved to identify not just high scorers, but the high impact players?
So that is linked. The data just identifies who to go and see.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's all data driven and it's all not just what you see. So there'll be some people who will have the numbers, because you need numbers. We're a numbers country.
Absolutely.
You know, we have numbers in exams, we have numbers to get into medical, into joint, everything is numbers.
Absolutely.
Life is about numbers.
Correct.
So when you have the numbers, then we see out of the 10 people who have numbers, we want 2 people. So then we go and see the 10 and decide which 2. So we see how is he under pressure?
Correct.
How is his consistency? What sort of opposition? What sort of shots does he play?
So
what
it's
is
a
his
marriage of the
range as a
two,
player? Yeah, absolutely.
Because both goes hand in glove, right?
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
You've seen coaching from the fielding nets of IPL dugout, right? That's the billion-dollar baby, and you know the best that you could talk about amongst the leagues. How has the role of a modern-day coach changed? Are we now more performance manager than just technical instructors? In the old days, you know, the technicality.
Yeah, it depends upon the tournament. If you're a state Ranji coach, you're doing a lot of technical stuff. If you're an IPL coach, you're getting your players 4 days before the tournament. What are you going to coach them for? One of the biggest challenges of IPL that all the coaches face is that you don't have access to the players 10 months a year, 9 months a year. So how do you coach them? As much of camps you have, because they are all playing pro cricket. Even for the domestic players, you forget about the international players, they are stars, they probably don't need as much coaching. But even if you talk about a young, say, Karthik Sharma coming out, whoever has him, that coach doesn't have access to it because he's playing state, he's playing Ranji Trophy, he's playing Mushtaq Ali. So it's a state coach who has more access to him than the IPL coach. So for IPL coach, it's more about managing and fine-tuning. But for the state coach, it's all about the full technical expertise you're talking about. So you had one coach. You had Dennis Lisa, you had T.S. Shekhar, then you came here, you had Palash Nandi, whoever. But now a young player has access to many coaches. Sometimes that's not the best thing. It's better to have just one coach or 2 coaches, because then your information is coming from 1 or 2 people. If your information was 7, 8 people, and you're a young 19, 20-year-old, you can get a little bit swayed. Which one to take, which one not to.
And what is the CAB's immediate priority, if at all you know, to ensure that the next generation of Indian stars for women's cricket comes from Bengal? They are already doing pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, women's cricket in Bengal has been very big for a long, long time. You know, even before it became big in India, they've always been, CAB has been looking after the women cricketers. Jhulan is the torchbearer. Then we have many others who've come in right now. Richa's in the Indian team. And also, you know, the sort of coaching they have, the sort of tours they make, the sort of infrastructure they have, then the WPL coming, everything else happening. Now for a young woman cricketer, there's so much more to look forward to. It's just not state cricket, it's WPL. And it's grown triple-fold, and I see in coaching camps when I used to drive around, I just see boys. Now I see so many girls, whether it's in Vivekananda Park, wherever. They are now have a lot of self-belief. They think that they can also play professional sport. They feel that we can have a career playing sport. Before it was all about getting a job, playing a couple of state matches, but now it's a career. I'm talking about a 10, 12, 15-year career. And doing everything. Fearless approach, absolutely. That's what a Richa Ghosh, who's what, 23, 24, 25, has taught you. That, you know, you have a future, you can be fearless. And us winning the World Cup, if you look at Harman, you look at all these players, you look at how fit and strong and fearless they are, and they're telling you, you can be one of us. Just follow the path.
With T20 cricket, now the global commercial driver, we know the figures and we know how IPL has really done well. How are we balancing the technical needs of red ball, as you mentioned, red ball cricket, with the requirements of the shortest format, which is white ball?
That is the best question I've heard today. And you know, it worries me. Because on one side, as much as I love T20 cricket and I think the entertainment, I love the glitz, the glamour, the razzmatazz that comes with the game. For a youngster now, what worries me is, if I was 17 and if I was given a choice of going through the grind, do I want to be a Bishan Singh Bedi or do I want to be a Krunal Pandya? These are the two completely different paths in front of me. The traditional loop in the air, drift, turn, that, and I want to play 100 test matches for India. And I think it's probably a little bit easier for you to play India in white ball cricket than in test match cricket. Abhimanyu Ishwaran has scored about 9,000 runs. He hasn't still played in the 11. But if you look at the T20 formats, a lot of the cricketers with a little bit of success has played for India.
You think priorities are also changing in players?
It would. I mean, if I feel that it's easier to play T20 cricket for India and also get IPL with it, and the and everything else that comes
And
with
the
it.
career.
Yeah. I mean, you look at somebody like a Venkatesh Iyer, who in one good season played for India. Nitish Rana played for India in T20. One good season in Ranji Trophy doesn't get into the test team.
Correct.
And if you get into the test team, you'll have a couple of people there who have played 70 test matches. Like Jalaj Saxena didn't play for India because Ashwin was there. And Jalaj Saxena was brilliant.
Correct.
So the spaces also have to open up. But in T20, I think the opportunities are more.
Yeah.
But I would love a 17, 18-year-old to learn red ball so that the white ball is easier instead of vice versa.
It's a vice versa.
Because if you
transition
learn,
is white to red now.
No, yeah, but if you learn only white ball, then you might not become successful red ball cricketers. And at 17, you should be making that choice.
Correct. Come, Joy, we step into the cool zone.
Oh,
this is
this is
something
nice.
we all desire. So when you're training a 15-year-old in the Bengal age group system that we have, what could be your core philosophy for their long-term development, knowing the system so well?
Learn the basics.
Okay.
Just the way you and I grew up learning the game. Because I think between 15 and maybe 19, 20, 21 is when you learn the basics. And after that, whatever basics you have, you play the rest of your career with that. You can't change your technique at 27, 28. You can tweak it, but your basic has to be, that's why I'm very big on proper coaching at a very young age.
How good is the coaching system down the line?
Very good system over here.
Yeah.
So many camps over here. So the talent in Bengal is phenomenal. And I say this because I hear this from an Ashok Malhotra and Arun Lal, who've been in Delhi, who've been in Haryana, they've seen a whole of India, and they've coached a lot. And then they come here and say the talent here as a 17-year-old. I was the other day at Ashok Malhotra's academy and watching the under 10s play, the under 12s play.
Recently, there was some baby league also.
Yeah, baby league, the under 10. Phenomenal talent. I mean, I wasn't that good. You weren't that good at 9. But how many of them go on to the next level?
Correct.
That is where the challenge is, which is more non-technical than technical.
You were instrumental in scouting Kumar Kushagra for Delhi Capitals. What are the unseen traits you look for in a young player at the grassroots level that's signal IPL readiness? Ki bhaiya ye taiyar hai abhi.
As far as IPL is concerned, the best place to see them is in the Syed Mushtaq Ali. Because that's where you're playing against IPL bowlers. That challenge is slightly easier because they're already at a certain level. And then you look at what number they bat, their range of shots, how they're under pressure, what sort of, how big is his hitting, what is his strength as a batter. But the bigger challenge, Rajiv, is always when you pick out a Mukesh Kumar from nowhere in club cricket or an Akashdeep who used to do tennis ball cricket. Because those are the challenges. You've got no data to fall back on. Kumar Kushagra had a lot of data to fall back on. He was doing really well. They say he was phenomenal for Jharkhand in the Syed Mushtaq Ali. Everybody talks about Ishan Kishan, but 2 names, Kushagra and Anukul Roy, were phenomenal. One person can never win you a trophy. Something that Saurav is very big on. He says that when you go scouting, don't always get dejected if 1 or 2 fall by the wayside, because many things can happen. Loss of form, love for the game, bad habits, whatever. But even if you, out of 15, can get 1 or 2 boys to play for Bengal for the next 10 years, job done.
What are the most frequent technical or mental errors you see in young players making today in their rush to adapt to T20 format?
Yeah, I feel thoda Bangla bole.
Yes.
His Bengal is better than mine. এটাই মনে হয় আমার যে মাঝে মাঝে এটা হয় না যে বড় প্লেয়ারদের কপি করতে যায় বড্ড তাড়াতাড়ি। আমি যখন একটা ছেলেকে জিজ্ঞেস করি তুমি এই শাফলটা করো কেন, স্যার বিরাট কোহলি করে, কিন্তু বিরাট কোহলি কেন করে শাফলটা? And once VVS Lakshman told me যে আমি শাফল করতে শুরু করেছিলাম when I had a problem against Wasim Akram in swing. আর এই শাফল, সেকেন্ড স্টান্স, এগুলো সব লাইফলাইন। And you should use it when you need to. But when I see a 12-year-old doing it, just because Virat does it or Rohit does it or whoever does it, that is not the right thing to do. So we challenged as a coach to egulo ekhon keep it out of the, because egulo
need versus wish. How can we refine the current grassroots structure in Bengal to ensure that a talented kid in a remote district like Purulia, let's go that far, has the same opportunity as someone in Calcutta?
That is done.
So onek pertaining question ache na?
That is done. Ache ekdom ache, that is done. শুধু জাস্ট সিএবি নয়, I think all over India. That's why আমরা দেখছি এখন কত ছোট শহর থেকে এসে ছেলেরা খেলছে, আইপিএল খেলছে, ইন্ডিয়া খেলছে, সো সেটা অলরেডি হচ্ছে, দ্যাট ইজ অলরেডি হ্যাপনিং, অ্যান্ড আই থিঙ্ক এভরি corner of West Bengal has been tapped. As far as CAB has done a fabulous job, as has all the other associations. Coaches, infrastructure, nets, camps. If you are good, you will come through.
এটা দেখা যায় কি অনেক ট্যালেন্ট ডিস্ট্রিক্ট থেকে বের হয়েছে ফর বেঙ্গল ইন দ্য লাস্ট 10-15 ইয়ার্স আই ক্যান টক অ্যাবাউট।
আমি যখন বেঙ্গল টিমে এসেছিলাম তখন অনেকে কলকাতা শহর থেকে খেলতো, লট অফ পিপল, so I lived in South Calcutta. Snehashish lived in Behala. There were others around here. Sharadhandu lived here. Shagor lived here. এখন আমরা যদি জুনিয়র ক্রিকেট দেখি, 80% of the boys from the districts.
Absolutely.
And that is to answer your question, how well they've done. We didn't have competition that much from the districts. But now there's solid competition from the districts for the city boys. I feel sometimes the city boys, and me being a city boy, feel a little more privileged, And I see a lot of the city boys, I'm not talking about the professional players, the under-19 players, but I'm talking about when I see my friends' children, they love the sport, they know everything about the sport, but they don't play the sport as much. They're all in the gym, they've got great bodies, but they're not so much like you and I, when we were 15, we wanted to play cricket anywhere, play football, play hockey. वो खेलने का जो नशा है, वो थोड़ा कम दिखता है, with the social media, with everything else that's happening, and the more aware you are of all this, the more it's a bit of a hindrance. I sometimes find people who are just away. We've heard of many Olympic champions who've kept their phone away, social media away for 4 months before winning the gold medal. So these are choices you make for a reason. Sacrifice ka thoda na wo kami ho gaya abhi. Jo when you were young, we said no to a lot of the things because it was not good for us. Whether it was late night parties, whether it was alcohol, we said no because, so now it's that dum thoda lacking hai, and that is why we lose a lot of players. I don't want to name them, but we've lost some players who shone in junior cricket, and then in senior cricket they fell by the wayside. I remember your dad. You would even if we sometimes as batters went a little bit and had the butter chicken, you said no, not for me, because so to say no wasn't easy, but you made a choice. That's why you're here.
Correct. With the launch of a great project Dumurjala coming up with CAB, I think that's a wonderful initiative. How do you see the role of a specialized academies evolving compared to the traditional grit-based club cricket of Maidan?
Yeah, so one goes into the another. So you play the club cricket. Club cricket is your board exam. You give your board exam, and if you do well, then your stream is Dumurjala or Kalyani. We already have an academy there. That's where I think right now in Kalyani, I've seen the under 16 spend a month there. Now, and you go to Kalyani, it's superb. You've been there, the wickets, the pool, the gym, the indoor, everything is there. You don't need to step out.
All under one roof.
Dumurjala will be at another level. Absolutely. So, once you make your cut in club cricket, because Dumurjala is not a coaching center, it's a state academy. So you have to be good enough to get into Dumurjala. You're not going to just walk in there. You just can't go and say how much are the fees and I want to. It's not that. It's not a coaching center. You need to go to your coaching center, learn the game, go play club cricket, do well there, and that gets you in there. I was part of Vision and everything. So state cricketers were always part of these academies. It's the ones who are now not in state, say 16 or 19, yet they've done really well. So they also go and join the guys who are playing for the state. And then they make the pool bigger for next year.
How are you systematically integrating elite fitness and mental toughness training into the under 19 and under 23 modules? Because that's the pool.
For me, under 19 is the most important age group. 16, you're a baby. 23, you should be ready. That's where khana pakta hai.
Correct.
To answer your question, the skills are being taught. The mental toughness cannot be taught. Like you and I played with Saurav, and the reason he stood out was because of his mental toughness. Often I guess asked, why is he the one who's played 113 test matches? Why is he? There were others who were really good as well at the time, as we know. So what separates him from them, apart from the cricket skills? That is a little bit, a grey area for me, because how do you get a kid mentally tougher? There's no school, there's no person. Yeah, there are psychologists, there are mental coaches, so you can get better, but you still have to do it.
What is the one support system, be it nutritional, be it very briefly mentioned also, financials or psychological, that is the skill lacking for young cricketers in the domestic circuit?
Mental coach. Everything else has been provided. I don't think I read a lot of books on sport because this sport has been my life. The more I read, the more I try and understand how a mental coach has made a difference to a Tiger Woods, to a Pete Sampras, to a Alcaraz. I mean, we're talking about legends here. I mean, right now, the under-16 has a 7-8 member support staff. When you and I played for Bengal, there's one coach and one manager.
Correct.
That's it.
And a masseur.
And he was the one who was also picking up our suitcase and putting in the train, fingers at our time. God bless his soul. But I'm just saying that, it's just everything else has been taken care of. I'll tell you a short story as quickly as I can. Mukesh Kumar, when he first came in Vision 2020, the physio assessed him and said that he can't even bench press 10 kilos. He's got nothing in his body. He's malnutrition, edema. He'll have stress fracture if he bowls. So for a year, CAB kept him, fed him, got him ready. Next year in Buchi Babu first came for Bengal, he got a fifer. And since then hasn't looked back. So that is where the work of association comes in. And Mukesh and Akash were given a room, 2 beds, nice room, air conditioned. They would train. They would get their body strengthened, they would bowl, food was taken care of for a year.
Good recovery.
So today, that's the reason why they are where they are.
Correct. What is the biggest single hurdle Bengal cricket in 2025 season?
Batting.
Okay.
As a group. In fact, if you see the last 3-4 years, batting has always been an issue. This year, we got the lead against Jammu and Kashmir, who won the Ranji Trophy. In the semi-final, we got the lead. You know what a lead meant to us.
Absolutely.
And then we were 99 all out on day 3. After day 3, Kalyani after tea, 99 all out. As good as J&K are.
Correct.
So I think batting is an issue through every age group.
Yeah.
So batting needs to. And when I say batting, I'm not talking about club cricket. I'm talking about batting when I compare with Vidarbha, with let's say a Karnataka, with say Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir in the Ranji final won the toss on a green top with a test bowler, Prasidh Krishna, and India bowler, Vaishak Vijay Kumar said we'll bat first and got 400 plus. So that is what we need. Our batting, our bowling is superb.
Yeah.
We are where we are because of our bowling.
Yeah.
If our batting and the challenges increase because Manoj went, then Riddhiman went, Anushtup is on his last leg. So we need the next lot of batters to come and take over.
When we talk about pressure preparation, which is where the coaching comes into play, so how can we as coaches and administrators better prepare our players for the psychological kill zone of high pressure IPL or international matching?
And that is for something that I don't have an answer for. I was in the Delhi Capitals dugout a couple of years back, and I used to look after a lot of the fielding. I used to help out in the fielding as an assistant coach. So I used to hit a lot of balls, and in the bus, Ponting would, say, how those arms, because he would see me hitting 300, 400 balls. And then I go to a match and I see somebody who hasn't dropped one catch in 7 days drop a sitter. And I'd be like, and he would come to me and say, mate, this is not about lack of practice. This is about him freezing at that moment.
Correct.
So I told him, like, you're a legend. How do you get around? He said, you don't. Sometimes you don't.
Oh.
Yeah. So sometimes you don't. He said that he played with a lot of players who were brilliant in the nets, in practice games, in low pressure situations. But when high pressure situations came, something inside them stumbled. And it's not that they didn't want to. They couldn't do it.
Who and one young Bengal player we should be watching out in the next 12 months coming up the ranks?
I think Abhishek Poril. I think he's underperforming in red ball cricket. I think he's played 30 games with 100 against Bihar. I think he's a phenomenal talent. Last year, strike rate 160. I think 500 runs first season. Last year also, I think close to 400 runs. And it's not easy for a boy from Chandanagar to go over there 160 against the big boys. But I feel he has not fulfilled his potential.
Yeah,
he in 30 games should be having 500s. He should be averaging 50.
Yeah.
He's averaging the mid-30s if I'm not wrong. So for me, he's a bit of an underperformer. But talent-wise, and he's 23, so India A now. Yeah. And I keep telling him that India is not for life.
Correct.
You have a time span on this because somebody else, Abhikan Kundu, is a phenomenal keeper batter from 190 World Cup winning team. He's knocking on the door. You have this for a couple of years. Right. Then somebody else will come. I keep telling everybody, Rajiv, that hum factory mein kaam karte hain. Domestic cricket mein. Indian team is the showroom. Everybody goes and sees what's there. So when I used to have these friends who play badminton, I play, and I told them about Yashasvi Jaiswal 4-5 years back. He said, "Kya naam hai?" I said, "Naam yaad rakhiyo." Because we are doing Dilip Trophy final. He's getting 285 after conceding lead. We are looking at players all over. Yash Rathore last year, 500s, 960 runs. Now, not a lot of people follow state cricket like you and I do. It's part of our job.
Absolutely.
So when I say these players are coming through, you know, it is because we are seeing everyone. I love domestic cricket because that's where the stars of today are born. There are players who have not been able to break in because there's no space. We can have two teams.
Correct.
If we have a second India team, that will be better than a lot of the international teams. That's the competition. अगर जगह किसी ने आपको 4 नंबर पे ले लिया और वो 100 टेस्ट मैच खेलने वाला है तो आपको नहीं मिलने वाला. We had a time when Sehwag played 100, Rahul played 164, Sachin played 200, Saurav played 113 and Lakshman played 134. So उस बीच में a lot of middle order batters didn't play for the country because जगह नहीं था.
Times have changed now.
Now it's brilliant, Rajiv. You know, this is an India A team. Before it used to happen, one failure would get you out. Now they give you a proper run. Brilliant system.
And I think BCCI, we are very fortunate to be working with BCCI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the kind of structure they have, the kind of network that they have.
The COE, the NCA, brilliant.
It's superb.
The facility.
Facility.
I was mesmerized. I went to Australia with KKR in 2009 and I saw the Centre of Excellence. This is at another level.
This is another level. And run by the right set of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice. So all that augurs well. So I think it's been a brilliant session.
Thank you for having me, Rajiv.
It's absolutely my privilege, and I hope the viewers like as much as I do all the time talking to colleagues and ex-cricketers, and we all wish very well for Bengal, because ultimately it's all about Bengal, it's all about Indian cricket, because states would contribute to the nation, and then the commendable effort by CAB, and kudos to them and commemorations to them, and thank you, Joy, and keeping well. You're looking smart as ever and fit as ever, so we'll look
not half as good as you, but I'm trying my best. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.